Hey, 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 welcome. Here we are, Sam Roberts, now live on the loneliest night of the week, Friday night. Happy Lonely Friday, everybody. And I know there is one question on everybody's mind right now. The question being, how lonely are we? Ladies and gentlemen, let's find out. Drum roll, please. Brrr, hot dog is here.
It's
Oh, yeah, here we are. Welcome. What kind of energy was that? Welcome to Lonely Friday Night. Welcome to Sam Roberts Now. We have so much to break down tonight. Hot Dog, I'm so glad that you're here to help me with this because it would be too much for one man to take on. Of course, a great week for all of us. Last week, a lot of you guys enjoyed the breakdown and ranking of every episode of Black Mirror. First of all, let's catch up on a couple of things. Number one, Hot Dog.
Mm-hmm.
Did you watch any of the Black Mirror episodes that we discussed last week?
No, I did not. I am gonna get on it this weekend along with the current season of Black Mirror.
That figures.
Put that all.
Derek Tomza says it best. Hot Dog bringing that virgin energy.
Well, my Bruce Buffer announcement.
Number two, Hot Dog.
Yes.
You said GTA 6 would be announced when?
At the Summer Games Fest.
When is the Summer Games Fest?
Let me check my calendar. The Summer Games Fest was last year, June 8th.
June 8th.
Yeah.
Here we are, Hot Dog, 8 days later. When is GTA 6 coming out?
My uncle at Rockstar said, hold on tight.
No dice, huh? No dice.
The demo is dropping soon.
Ooh, can't wait. Yeah.
Yes.
But that's a no-go then. Two weeks ago, I think you said, I'm pretty sure, like, you were like, I was complaining about GTA 6 not coming out, and you were like, dude, I don't even know what you're complaining about at this point. They're probably going to announce it within days.
It was a gamble because if it did come out,
you would have been the man.
Summer Games Fest, I would have been like fucking king shit.
Yeah.
And it didn't pay off. But you know, sometimes some reporters, some journalists sometimes get their facts wrong, and that's okay. As long as they get the next one right.
No, that's not the way it works. You're supposed to print a retraction, and you're not supposed there's a whole process. You're actually supposed to source your material through multiple sources. Like, no, I mean,
that's not how it is in wrestling.
That's not wrestling journalism. That's why that's not a real thing. Yeah, that's that's just.
I was going by those rules.
Oh, I see. You mean the same rules that had everybody yesterday going, oh my God, AEW is burning to the ground. This CM Punk interview that's about to come out is going to destroy everything. And then the interview comes out and people are like, oh, just promoting Collision. Huh? Talking about Collision?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Look, there's
and by the way, not one person has said, that's my bad. I shouldn't have made such a big deal out of that. No one.
Well, because Sam, as a good journalist does, they said it may or may not cause some huge issues.
May or may not.
That's it's speculative.
And as a good journalist says, as you once said, as long as we're right next time.
Yes, exactly. That's my motto.
Well, I did real quick. There will be no spoilers. But I've only watched the first 2 episodes of season 6 of Black Mirror. Last week we ranked all 5 seasons, episodes 1 through 22. I think it was 22 episodes. We ranked them from least favorite to favorite. I've only watched 2 season 6 episodes. Obviously, the first and the second one, like any normal person would do. And yeah, and what?
Sometimes you jump around for shows like this.
Not unless you're in House of Pain.
I've also watched 2 episodes of this current season of Black Mirror.
What'd you think of episode 2?
I did not watch episode 2. Obviously, duh.
Well, I decided to go nuts and watch episode 1 and 2. So the first episode is Joan is Awful, which again, I'll give you guys some time to watch it. I will say the amount of Easter eggs in this episode, number 1, another occurrence. Remember I told you last week that song repeats It's in Joan is Awful again. It's the song when she walks into the bar and they're going, you know, they're playing the same song from 15 Million Merits that it's probably like the 6th or 7th time this song has been in an episode. So there's that. And then also when they're, you know, Streamberry is their version of Netflix. I love Streamberry. If you press pause when they're looking at the Streamberry menu, there's all kinds of references to episodes. Like half of the boxes that pop up are like references to episodes of Black Mirror. Like they all like as if they all kind of exist within this same weird universe.
You really noticed the small details, Sam. I did not pick up on a single bit of that.
Yeah, I literally hit pause while my wife is watching, and I stood up. I mean, it's impossible to live with me. I stood up next to the TV. I go, Jay, look. See, this is from this episode. Oh, and that's from that episode. Like I'm the teacher pointing to the television. I got so excited about the whole thing.
Like the crime scene behind you.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm Charlie Day all of a sudden from Always Sunny. That's exactly how I was watching this episode. I got very excited. Good episode, fun episode. Go ahead.
Without spoilers,
Sure,
obviously.
sure.
I figured this would be an episode that you wouldn't be a fan of because you tend to like episodes that are...
I get what you're saying. Enough said. And yeah, I mean, I would have liked something far more catastrophic, but I found this to be a fun episode. Not the best, but not the worst I've ever seen. And then, of course, episode 2 was Lock Henry. And that one I actually liked a lot better. That Lock Henry I liked for the reason that I like episodes. Not, again,
Okay.
neither one makes top 5. I don't think either one would even make top 10, but they also don't make bottom, 2 or 3. So all good there.
Salma Hayek still looking good.
That's Salma Hayek, huh?
Lord.
I don't know what kind of adrenochrome or deal she's made with the devil or what she's done. But anybody that says these celebrities live lives just like us, I ain't seen anybody age like Salma Hayek in real life ever. It's never happened.
She's in her 60s.
No.
She's a grandma.
She's not in her 60s, is she?
She is. Oh, look.
Ay, Dios mío. I mean, this Salma Hayek.
56.
Still 56?
Yeah.
My God. Yeah, and a lot of people would say this is great because it gives hope to 56-year-olds. But really what it is, it's a terrible news because it's taken the standard for 56. She's pushed the goalpost so far past where it was for 56-year-olds that it's not even fair. Men and women. You go like this. Well, I'm kind of falling apart and I'm 56. Salma Hayek? I know. Yeah, I know Salma Hayek. Okay, Salma Hayek, sure. It's not fair. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how she does it, but she does it. She's incredible.
Salma Hayek at 56 can beat most 20-year-olds.
Most for sure. And so at some point we'll talk about this whole season of Black Mirror once everybody gets a chance to watch it and everything and join in on the fun. I don't want to do it too early, but have you been seeing what everybody's been saying about this show, The Idol? The Idol, the new HBO program. Creator Sam Levinson, who also did Euphoria, has joined forces with The Weeknd and has given us The Idol, the story of a pop star and some guy that she meets. The Idol. Have you seen it?
Have you watched it? I haven't seen it.
Oh, yeah,
I read all the... Okay.
Oh, yeah, I watched it. I wanted to check it out. I wanted to see what all the fuss was about because I'm sitting there going like... first of all, Lily Rose Depp. I mean, come on. Lily Rose Depp steps into a starring role. Sam Levinson is the creator. I love Euphoria, right? So Sam Levinson, the creator of Euphoria, coming on board. He directed the episodes too. And there are a lot of people that were saying, I don't know why people are being so hard on this show. Stylistically and cinematically, it looks really good. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's because the guy who did Euphoria is doing it. It's more that if you're...
It's forte.
Yeah, I mean, the way it looks, sure.
Yeah.
It looks professionally done, wouldn't you say?
I mean, this is an HBO show too. So it's the same guy on HBO, right?
Yeah.
So he has a nice big budget. He's gonna make
Huge
it look
budget.
nice. Yeah.
But I don't know. I think The Weeknd. He's this huge artist. He makes all these sex songs. You don't get
the WrestleMania theme songs.
That's why I call them sex songs. That's how they get me. They get me all charged up. But he's got all this mystery about him. I love The Weeknd. And then for some reason he shows up, and he flat irons his hair and grows it all long, and wears this Scarface shirt, tank top on the bottom, grows his beard in full. And I'm like, The Weeknd is like this mysterious sex god on this show that is that tempts the pop star Lily Rose Depp. He made himself look like a total cheeseball. I don't know. I don't know why The Weeknd wasn't just The Weeknd. Like, if he just showed up looking like The Weeknd, I'd be like, man, that dude's cool. But he shows up looking like this character. I'm like, that guy's not cool at all. If I saw that guy at the club, I'd be like, what's going on with that dork, huh? What's his deal?
But he's still trying to play mysterious like he is in real life.
Yeah. But like The Weeknd in real life is mysterious.
Right.
If he just did it that way, boom, here we go. But, I not this guy. I'm not.
He looks like a sleazy drug dealer.
I know. I'm not intrigued by him at all. So, critics did not like this show, The Idol, when it premiered at the film festivals. They did not like the show. They said it was a bad show. Got like 26% review. And then the people were like, I see what this is. This is Super Mario Brothers all over again. The critics got it wrong again. I'm going to watch this show because it's going to be great, and I'm going to be able to see these lame stream critics don't know what they're talking about. And then the people watched this show, and they also said, not great. Not a great show. I don't even know what's going on. The Weeknd has somehow lost his coolness. The Weeknd was never accused of not being cool. And then this came on, and they were like, that dude is not cool.
Yeah, the only material I've seen from the show is that one screen grab going around on Twitter where he says, and I just pulled it up, I'm going to fucking stretch that tiny little pussy. And it's just the most
cringe.
Ugh.
Just cringe.
Yeah.
Also, it's
cringe.
It's so cringe when you say it too.
Well, I'm reading it like a lawyer. That's why.
No, I know. But can you imagine if somehow like The Weeknd channels the same sort of cringe sexuality as Hot Dog? Like something has gone terribly wrong here.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say that line, but if I did, and I was in the moment, I would probably say it better than I just did right now. I was just using that as what's floating around Twitter.
Sure. But it's also like I thought when I saw the billboards and stuff for the show, I thought it was like going to be like, okay, we're going to look at this pop idol and we're going to watch her rise and then see how the industry corrupts, right? And maybe we still will. I don't know. I only watched one episode. I think there's only been 2 episodes thus far. But she's already risen like Jesus. When the show is on, she's already an idol, right? She's already a big pop star. I guess she just got out of having like a mental breakdown. I guess her mom passed away, and then she had a mental breakdown, and she's got a hospital bracelet on, and like the assistant is arguing with the manager, going like she shouldn't be taking these sexy photo shoots with a hospital bracelet on, and the manager's like, no, it makes it more sexy. And then the assistant or whoever is like, that's not a good thing to say. And then the manager's like, sex sells, and this is very sexy. And it's just so surface level, on the nose. Like, I mean, okay, so they shouldn't, I guess she shouldn't take sexy photos with her hospital bracelet on, but I mean, the stuff that I've heard about the music industry is so far beyond just somebody should tell her to clip her bracelet off. I don't know. And they never go into detail on any of that stuff, right? They never explore it. Well, why shouldn't they? Well, is this happening? Well, this is an example of this. Like, in real life, we see it this way. It's like, no, it's just like, with these stars, sometimes their handlers talk about them like they're not even human beings. And you're like, no, really? Oh,
Get
man.
outta here.
Oh, man. The whole big thing, the whole big story on episode 1 is that she's in a photo shoot, and Twitter's going nuts while she's in this photo shoot. This is Lily Rose Depp. Twitter's going nuts because there's a photo of her with jizz on her face online.
Ooh.
Yeah. And her managers and stuff, they're like, don't tell her about the jizz. And they're like, okay, we're not going to tell her about the jizz. And you're, as a person, going like, man, I would really like to know if something like that was going on about me, but I guess these managers, they really don't care about her. And then eventually she finds out about the jizz on the face, and, you know, she handles it, you know. And then and that's it, you know, that's kind of where that ends. And then she goes to a club, and she's just hanging out with her friends, but then the Weeknd owns the club. And he's like, talks to her like real quietly, like, and he goes like, you know, you should be having more fun. And she's like, oh my God, I will give you everything. And you're just like,
my eyes already.
I know, because you're like, I'm not like, this is, I go like that. This isn't the worst thing I've ever seen, but I'm just not on this journey with you. I'm not, you haven't gotten me here. These are just things that are happening. I'm sitting there going like this. If this guy looking like this, like if the Weeknd looking like the Weeknd stole my girl away from me, I'd be like, yeah, what am I going to do? It is what, like, that's the week, like, obviously, right? I'm not going to blame her. I'm just going to go, this is the way life works. If this guy stole my girl in a club, I'd be like, Jesus Christ, the standards on this woman I brought here. This is good riddance. I'm not worried about this at all. Goodbye. This guy's a total clown.
Well, the Weeknd would say that you don't understand what he's going for on the show. You see, like, he's responding to some comments about like his character.
Well, you always know that things are working when the star is responding to comments.
Yeah. Well, he's like, they're talking about like how his character is depicted, and he's just like, you guys don't understand. Like, he's supposed to be like this skeevy, you know.
Yeah, but he
like,
sucks. You know what I mean?
Scummy looking guy. Like, I'm trying to elicit a reaction out of the audience, and I want you guys to really, really hate him.
No, you don't hate him. You're just like, ugh. Like, it's the same average dude. You know what? Here's what it is. The Weeknd doesn't understand, because like the Weeknd is this super famous guy. He doesn't understand that this scumbag is like, everybody sees this guy every day. Like, it's not, you're not going like, oh, I just hate him, he's so low. You're just like, yeah, I know that guy. That guy sucks. I don't know why we're watching a show about him. You know what I mean?
I think he's just out of his wheelhouse, and the acting on his part isn't good as well. I've heard that it looks great. The show looks great.
Looks great. Looks like, you know what it looks like? Euphoria. Yeah, it looks exactly like that show Euphoria. Yeah.
That the actress does a good job. Would you agree?
Yeah, I got no problem with the actress. Yeah, Lily Rose Depp, she could. Yeah, I got no problem.
But that the Weeknd is the weakest part of this show.
Well, that feels like people are attacking the Weeknd now. That feels a little like they're going after poor Weeknd. And look, I don't know what it is. The same thing happened to Justin Timberlake. Everybody thinks that because they're great at one thing, they're going to be great at everything. And it's like, just do the thing that you're great at, right? Like,
I didn't hate his acting.
He just was himself every single movie.
Yeah.
Like, he sucked.
but Justin Timberlake rules, though.
No, he doesn't. Like, he's just like, that, like Justin Timberlake does that like handsome guy self-deprecating thing where it's like, you're not self-deprecating. You don't believe this to be true. And he's like, oh, I'm just an awkward guy. No, you don't. You don't believe this to be true. Nah. But everybody was like, oh, dick in a box. Yeah, this guy, he's just one of us. No, he's not.
No, got me.
No, he's not. You know, you go like, oh man, he plays that douchebag in Facebook real good. Yeah, that's about right. You see what I'm saying?
That wasn't method acting or anything.
Well, how varied is Justin Timberlake's acting catalog?
Well, he plays the hot guy in that one movie, the good-looking best friend in that other movie.
Look, if you want to get paid, get paid. If you want to jump in the Facebook movie because the role works for you, jump in the Facebook movie. But this is Michael Jordan playing baseball. You know what I mean? Like, you found your gift. Stop looking. That's all. You found your gift. You get the one. Don't be greedy. You got 4 WrestleMania songs. I danced to all of them. You're great. Don't
Also,
do
he's
that.
exposing himself too much.
Would
This
you-
this almost feels. I
Yes.
mean,
Good call.
this
Yes.
isn't the same. This isn't the same because the Undertaker finished his career before he started, venturing out and stuff like that. But it almost feels like this gimmick that he's been protecting for like 10 whatever years now, and he's just throwing himself out there, and this isn't working. If you're gonna throw yourself out there and shred the mystique, it better work.
Yes. You guys didn't even know I had this other talent. It's like, no, we didn't, because now I see a super chat coming in here, and every super chat gets read. So this isn't the first one, but it just relates to what we're talking about. If you want to contribute to tonight's show, super chat in. Every super chat gets acknowledged. Chris says, critics tried to tank the show before it even came out. Compare the critics versus audience score. We are moving toward a less open society. The is leading. I don't know what the end of that meant, but I mean, this is the way it's always been, right? Critics have always panned things that they didn't like before they came out. Before there was Rotten Tomatoes, like horror movies, action movies, Roger Ebert would pan them, right? Roger Ebert destroyed Halloween. This is not a new concept, but like critics get it wrong, and there's nothing more than people love than calling out critics getting it wrong. It just happened to some Mario. People went nuts. People loved it, right? All the critics panned it, and then people went to see Mario. Everybody loved it, and they had the best time ever because they were like, critics, you got it wrong. We love it when the critics are wrong. Hot Dog, is the audience score and the critics score vastly different on this thing? Because it feels like with this one, critics panned it, and then audiences wanted to love it, and they were like, oh, no.
So it's 25, like you said, critic score, and then 56 audience score.
Okay. That's not fresh.
I mean, double of shit is...
It ain't fresh.
It ain't fresh.
It ain't fresh. If a teacher says, you got a 26% on this test, and you said, no, regrade it. And she goes, okay, you were right. It was actually a 56%. Guess what you get? An F. It's spelled exactly the same.
Capital.
So,
Also, this show, if it was on Freeform, maybe it would have lower expectations, but it is on the prestige streaming platform that is Max.
And
HBO.
And Sam Levinson. You can't be making hit TV shows if you're not going to keep making hit TV shows. That's not the way this thing works.
This is kind of goes to what you were talking about with the whole bringing prestige back to HBO. This show ain't going to do it.
No, it isn't. But I will tell you this. There is a great benefit to Max. I didn't realize this. We were all having a fun time making fun of Max. But I have to tell you, Max is hitting some home runs right now because there are all these hidden gems sprinkled throughout the Discovery Plus app that nobody really talked about because who's going on Discovery Plus? And now all of a sudden, like I'm watching the whole new season of 90 Day Fiancé on Max. It's much easier to get to. There's no commercials. It's perfect. And this season is incredible. But even more so, I turned on this documentary at the recommendation of one Jim Norton. We talked about it a little bit on the show, but this was one of those stories that I wanted to go over with you guys. The Curious Case of Natalia Grace. Hot Dog, do you know about this story?
Only from what's been mentioned on the show.
Okay, this is a 6-parter. It's on Max via, whatever channel it was originally on. But that's the thing. Like you got the Jared Fogle doc on Max now. You got all these fun, like, true crime, horror story things going on Max that you didn't have before. And I'm digging it. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I'm in complete approval of it. So, The Curious Case of Natalia Grace, right? It's about
that name.
That's right. It rhymes. It's fun. It's about a couple, and they have 3 sons, and they have like a daycare center, right? This is Michael and Christine. Michael and Christine, they got 3 kids. They got a daycare center, and Michael tells you the whole thing. Michael is one of the reason this docuseries is so great is not just because the story is fascinating, but because every character involved is amazing. Everyone they talk to is great. So you got Michael over here, and he is explaining that they had their sons, they had their nursery, daycare, and they decided they wanted to adopt a child, right?
Mhm.
So they were going to adopt a child from Haiti. And that didn't work out because the earthquakes in Haiti, I think whatever, it was one of the natural disasters that happened not too long ago in Haiti.
10 years ago?
Right, more or
I wanna
less,
say.
more or less.
Yeah.
And so, everything fell through, the infrastructure and everything. So no adopting from Haiti. They said, okay. They get called up by this adoption agency that goes, look, we got this little Ukrainian girl. She's 6 years old. You can have her if you want. You got 24 hours to decide. Which felt very Mission Impossible. This message will self-destruct. I had no idea adoptions happen that way, but what do I know of adoptions? I'm not here to judge.
This deal is it's going. It's going fast.
You have this deal, but you only have it right now. And they go, okay, let's go get this. Let's go get little Natalia, little Ukrainian Natalia, right? And so they go and they get her. And Michael will tell you. This guy, Michael, the husband, he will tell you he was very successful at this point. One of the first things he said in this docuseries, he had 4 cars in the driveway, including a Maserati, okay? This is a guy who had it all together. And I immediately thought to myself, if you are on a true crime documentary and the first thing you mentioned is how expensive your cars used to be, you are probably a bad person. So
some people see the value of their lives in the amount of cars they got.
I mean, I guess so. To me, I'd go, it'd be nice if you had a 4-car garage. Why the fuck are all those expensive cars in your driveway, you broke ass? Put them, if you can't afford a 4-car garage, then clean out your driveway. Okay? Anyway.
That's true. You're on another level, Sam.
Look, you can't afford a garage to put your cars in. You can't afford the cars. Who keeps a Maserati in the driveway? Garbage. So anyway, they go and they pick up this girl, right? And they go, okay, she's ours now. And they didn't have much paperwork on her. Bad Xerox copy of a birth certificate or something. The Barnetts, that's their name, Michael and Christine Barnett. They go, all right, that's fine. No problem. We're going to take her. You know what we're going to do? We're going to go to Disney World. And now we're saying, oh, geez, they must have money. If they're just like immediately, yep, we're going to adopt her. Yep, we're taking the whole family to Disney World. That's a pretty penny to spend right away. So
this is a silly question.
Go ahead.
But when you adopt a child or something like that, you don't have to like pay the organization money or anything, right?
I think you got to pay for adopted kid. I think you got to buy the kid. I think so.
Yeah,
I don't know how much a kid is, but I think so.
It's kind of strange.
It is strange. It is. It does feel off when you put it like that. Like, how much? You know what I mean? It's kind of like a tattoo. Like, if you're looking for a deal, you're probably not ready to purchase the product. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's like, is it $5,000? Like, do we put a number on this?
What do you got for $2,500 then? So, whatever. They bring Natalia to Disney World. They all have a great time, right? And Michael explains this story so eloquently in his words. He says that they go in, and Christine gives Natalia a bath. And he goes, she screamed bloody murder. I'm paraphrasing. But this Michael may be the single most performative person you will ever see on TV. I mean, everything is a show. You think I move and animate a lot? Like, again, going back to last week in evidence of UFOs, he is crafting the part of what a human being does and displaying it for the camera as he's talking about what is probably the most traumatic set of years in his entire life. So as he's theatrically telling this story, he lets us know that his wife screamed and he went into the bathroom, and it was because 6-year-old Natalia had hair where there shouldn't be hair.
Okay.
Right. At 6 years old, you shouldn't have that hair, you know, and pubic hair. Right. And they go, okay, well, that's no good, but I don't know. Maybe we'll ask a doctor later. In the meantime, I'm going to chalk this up to that's a little weird and keep it moving. And you're like, okay. I mean, Just keep it moving. All right, well, keep it moving then. And they go home, and they said everything was good for a week or two. But after that, things got bad. They started to get suspicious of little 6-year-old Natalia because not only with the hair, but also she was having trouble answering questions. They said Christine over here would ask her questions. Where are you from? Right? There she is.
Mhm.
Where are you from? Who did you know there? But she's 6. Right? And going like, oh, I don't have any of these answers for you. And this is driving Christine a little batty. She's like, this is very suspicious. Then Christine says she finds period clothes in her room. And Hot Dog, I don't know how much you know about women, but that doesn't happen at 6.
A little bit.
A little older. A little older is when it starts to happen. So then they get a woman to come over the house, speak Ukrainian to her. They say Natalia has no idea what the hell is coming out of her mouth. Just gets irritated. What, are you talking gibberish to me? She doesn't understand this language at all. And you go, well, she's only 6. And I go, yeah, she was 6, but, my kid is 6. He understands English super good. Like, really well.
Right now, you could maybe reason that the kid was traumatized. She's in a new country.
Maybe.
She doesn't want to open up to these strangers.
Yeah,
that's the benefit of the doubt that I would give this child right now.
Now, when I tell you that this doc is full of amazing characters, one of the best ones is in the early part of the doc, their neighbor. These two, they have a neighbor. She's a large woman who is commenting on everything that's happening, and just very judgmental and clearly the town gossip. When they brought home Natalia, and I thought, good for them. But then Christine started telling me that they were having some problems, and I thought to myself, oh, I don't know how this is going to impact me. And you're like, what are you talking about, right? So they
Sounds like my type. I like a good town gossip.
Just the best, like just the type of person that you want to sit and talk to and never reveal any information about yourself.
Nope.
And you won't have to, because they're probably a narcissist that just wants to talk at you. And that's fine. You're going to learn.
You'll leave that chat with so much more information than when you started.
So much more. It's a human neighborhood Facebook messenger, like group, like a human neighborhood Facebook group that just has the scoop on everyone, right? But I don't know. But it's not me. I don't know. So then things go from bad to worse. They start asking her, what's with these period clothes? Natalia's like, I don't know what you're talking about. They go, why don't you speak Ukrainian? Natalia goes, I don't know what you're talking about. And she starts to get mad. She goes, you know what, guys? I want you to know something. And they go, what? This is coming from them. They say, she says, I'm going to go ahead and kill you guys. And they go,
What?
Excuse me? What? And she goes, yes. And they're like, what do you mean? And she goes, I am definitely going to kill you. And they're like, what are
Just
you
giving you the heads up.
Yes.
This is happening.
Just so you know, I live in your house. You guys from me. And they're like, this is awful news. I hate to hear this, right? And so they look in the kitchen, right? And they go, there's no knives in the kitchen. Where are all the knives? And Christine and Michael, they go upstairs. You know where the knives were? They say under Natalia's bed. She had put the big knives under her bed. And they said,
Just prepping.
Natalia, why are these knives under your bed? She goes, I'm going to kill you with them. And they're like, oh, no. Oh, this is terrible. It's terrible. One night.
She's fed up. She had 2 days of them, and she's just like, no,
Over it.
This is not it.
Over it. One night, Christine taps Michael on the shoulder. She says, go. He says, it is 2:00 in the morning. I mean, the middle of the night. That's how he talks. And he says, he walks in and he opens Natalia's door and she's out of bed and she's just standing there. And he goes, what are you doing? Why are you just standing there, Natalia? And she goes, I don't know. And is just staring at him. And she goes, I'm thinking of ways to kill you or something like that. And he goes, oh,
do you know how fast I would chuck that child out the window?
Okay.
I've seen enough horror movies.
Then, yeah, including the movie Orphan. Then, it's this exact premise. Then,
Yes.
except this happened a year after the movie came out. Then, then, Michael says, and then I woke up, middle of the night, I woke up. And I look at the foot of my bed. And I see Natalia, and she's there holding a knife and staring at us. Or maybe she wasn't holding a knife this time, but she's just at the foot of their bed staring at them. Natalia, what are you doing in here? I don't know, she says. The final straw came, they say, when one day the mom is pouring herself a cup of coffee. It's next to the dish soap. She walks out of the room. She comes back in. Natalia's there with her. She takes a sip of the coffee. Pff, the dish soap was in it. Natalia tried to poison the mother. She wanted her to die. Wanted to kill her.
Oh, well, hold on. I don't know if the dish soap in the coffee cup is gonna do it.
Well, hot dog, I watched this and I thought the same thing. I looked at my wife and I said, Jay. She said, yeah, dude. I was like, I don't care how old this Natalia is. If I live in your house and I tell you I'm going to kill you and I have knives, you're dead, or I'm not trying to kill you. Like, she is, if all this is true, she's not trying, you know how you know she's not trying to kill them? They're alive. Right? So
it's a courtesy, it's a courtesy heads up, you know, put your affairs in order.
But
I'm going to kill you.
Hot dog, they lived like this for 2 years.
Oh.
You mean to tell me in 2 years you couldn't figure this out, Natalia? 2 years. They're going, and they're like, as they're going, she's like talking and everything. She's got all these plans. They're like, bro, she is not 8 years old. She's not 8 years old. It's been 2 years now. She's not 8 years old. She's definitely not 8 years old. They go to a doctor, right? The doctor goes, okay, I'll examine her. Nobody can get a straight answer on how old she is. You know, nobody else comments on the pubes. Like, there's no doctors that go like, yeah, it was weird she had pubes. Nobody comments on that. But there were people that go like, yeah, she had breasts at 8. Oh, okay, that's weird.
Yeah.
The doctor goes like, yeah, I don't think so. She ain't 8 years old. They go to court.
He just looked at her for a second.
No. I've seen 8-year-olds. That is not one. She's got dwarfism, by the way. Did I say she got dwarfism? She's got dwarfism, so it's harder to tell, you know. So they go to the courts, and they have Natalia re-aged. Right now on the book, she's 8 years old, but they're not buying that, and neither is the doctor. You know how old the courts rule her to be?
How?
22.
22?
They go. I said, what? They go from 8 to 22, right?
Based on what?
The doctor, they looked at her, they're like, yeah, 22. So the parents go, okay, she's no longer 8 years old. Now she's 22. So guess what you do when you're 22?
You get the hell out of the house.
You find an apartment. And they got her an apartment. They paid for the apartment. They found her an apartment. They paid for it. They said, no, you're going to live in this apartment, right? So Natalia, who was 8 yesterday, and today she's 22, moves into this apartment by herself. Now, you know, she probably shouldn't be living alone as she's got this dwarfism, right? She's really, regular tasks are very hard for her to do. And
still new to the country. I mean, how well can she still be even...
Well,
if she was
any country,
it just seems very reckless,
right? So her neighbors start going like, "Yeah, Natalia was a weird one." Now, to these guys' credit, a lot of the neighbors are going, "Yeah, she was acting like an adult." Like, I was having these conversations with her. I was like, "This is not an 8-year-old," but she would also do weird things. Natalia wouldn't bathe. She stunk. They said. Her neighbor said she stank. She wouldn't bathe. Her hair was matted. She'd use the same. She'd wear the same clothes for days at a time. Now look, they go, is she doing this because she's antisocial? Is she doing this because she's got dwarfism and can't reach the faucet? Is she doing this because she's 8 years old and if you don't tell an 8-year-old to shower, they ain't showering? I don't know. But Natalia starts getting real weird, right? She starts waiting, like trying to meet all the neighbors, being all super social, and then like going into people's like waiting for people to leave their house, right? The neighbors are going, yeah, we had to look out the window so we knew Natalia wasn't there so we could leave the house and get in our car, because otherwise she was going to start a conversation, which we've all had that neighbor. Anybody that's lived in buildings had that neighbor. But then it went a step further, and this lady's like, yeah, I left my door unlocked and I wasn't home. Natalia just walked in and opened the fridge. Like, Natalia started going into people's houses. The last straw.
This sounds like a child still. This doesn't sound like a 22-year-old.
She'd also play with like the neighborhood kids, right? Like if like a neighborhood kid would be standing at the bus stop in the morning, Natalia would see him at the window, leave her apartment, go and start talking to him. Hey, what are you doing?
That's kind of cute,
right? While this is happening, she apparently starts talking to somebody who works for CFS, Child and Family Services, and the parents, the Barnetts, find out about it. So all of a sudden, after that, the Barnetts start to take much more of a role in her day-to-day, right? Once those phone calls start being made to CFS from Natalia, the Barnetts are bringing groceries over now. They're bringing all this stuff over now. They're being, who are you talking to? Who are you talking? They're like clearing out the data on her phone. They're being very controlling.
But how can they legally be in trouble if this is but the courts say that she's a 22-year-old woman, which is already ridiculous.
I don't know. Could be abandonment. I don't know.
What?
Well,
a 22-year-old.
If they can't take care of themselves, I don't know. You might have some responsibility. But later on in the doc, a police officer does point out that in the state that they're in, they are responsible legally for any adopted child until they turn 21. So he said it's real interesting that the court decided to turn her 22.
Ah.
Right. So all this is going on. The last straw is that one of the neighborhood kids is playing outside with Natalia. They're rolling around. Ha, 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 ha. One of the neighbors says that she catches Natalia starting to unbuckle the little boy's pants.
Oh.
They go, you need to get out of here. You need to get out of here. There were accusations earlier in the doc of Natalia when the Barnetts put her in a psych ward at one point. They said she was being very sexual with a lot of the patients. Being very sexual, causing a sexual ruckus.
Like adult patients?
Yes. So it's very.
I don't know what. I honestly don't know what to.
It's very confusing, right? So
yeah.
So she has a year lease in this place, okay, in this apartment, and the lease runs out, and they go, you can't stay. We're not renewing the lease. We have that option. You've had many complaints. People say you stink. You keep walking into their houses. You're doing weird things with the kids. You can't come back here. And she goes, I got no place to live. So the Barnetts go, all right, we got another place, okay? And they move her an hour away to another county in Indiana. This is where they're from, Indiana, to a terrible neighborhood. They showed the neighborhood. It was awful. She lives next door to an offender that is on a registry.
Ugh.
Yep. And they move her into an apartment that is a third-floor walk-up. Dwarfism.
She's the dwarf.
Third floor walk up. It is an hour away from where she lived before. They drop her off at this apartment, and the Barnetts move to Canada. I'm Paul. Yeah. I'm Paul, and that's between y'all. Okay, we're out of here. We're moving to Canada. You got this apartment. I mean, and this Natalia, she goes through it, right? At one point, she goes 3 days. Like the power bill hasn't been paid. And so she's just sitting in her apartment for 3 days without power, okay? Now, Michael is saying the place that we moved her had everything that she needed. It had an adult education center. It had a food market that accepted her food stamps. It had, and I'm going like, okay, adult education center, GED center, food stamps supermarket, like all these things, a Salvation Army, and I'm going
luxury.
What neighborhoods have all those things within a walking distance? I guess just the
bad ones,
the worst ones. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Her neighbor's sitting there going like, I don't know what her parents are doing dropping her off here. I don't walk around unless I'm armed in this neighborhood. Like this is a wild place. So Natalia ends up moving in without telling her folks. She ends up moving in with this woman that she meets at the GED center and the woman's husband. Now, first you think this might be a scam, right? Because Michael is going, and the next thing I know, Natalia's Social Security checks have been turned over to this new woman that she is living with. And I go, oh, I wonder if this new woman is just trying to collect the money. And he goes, so it went to her instead of going to us. And I'm like, wait. You were getting her Social Security checks? And he goes, well, yeah, that's what her rent was coming out of. That's what this was coming out of. I go, okay. And they took her right to the food market. They spent all of her food stamps. I go, okay, could be a scam on the other end too. I'm still like figuring out what angle we're taking here, right? This is so confusing. And then, you know, like I said, she had the Social Security signed over, and he goes, and then we found out that apartment that we got her, she was subleasing. Her and her husband, who Natalia was living with, were subleasing that apartment. We lost the apartment while I'm in Canada. And I go, okay. So Natalia moves in with this woman because the apartment's not good for her. The woman starts subleasing it. The people who own the apartment are like, you can't sublease. And so they take the apartment away.
Sure.
But this is where problems arise, because the thing about this woman that Natalia is living with is that she stays with this woman for years. There's no evidence. I mean, it seems like it might be her healthiest relationship, because not only does this woman take care of Natalia and her husband take care of Natalia because they believe that she is not an adult, she's a child, but they go to a cop and explain the whole story. And now this new cop starts investigating, right? This new cop starts investigating what's really going on. And the cop ends up following this investigation all the way through. He ends up going to the Ukraine. He ends up finding the woman who is on the birth certificate for Natalia.
Wow.
He does a DNA test. It matches. She is Natalia's mother. He gets that woman's birth certificate, and he says, guys, if Natalia was as old as she says she is, this woman would have had to have been 10 when she gave birth. And you go, oh, what now? I don't understand. I don't understand. Meanwhile, poor Michael, this is where the whole docuseries turns around on its head. Poor Michael, he says, well, Christine and the kids stayed in Canada, and I moved away after we got divorced. We got divorced because Christine did something that destroyed the trust in our relationship. And you're like, oh, I know what that means. I know how you destroy the trust in the relationship. And then once they're split and you find out Christine was cheating on him,
of course,
Michael starts going to town. She was abusive to Natalia and everybody else in the family. She would go. He said that at one point, she was so crazy when Natalia was living with them. She was going so crazy, asking Natalia, who do you know in Ukraine? Where are you from in the Ukraine? Who do you know? I don't believe you. Write down a list of people you know. Write down a list. And Natalia would be like, I don't know who to write down. I don't know who to write down. And they had video footage of it. I don't know where they got this video. But so she said to this, she said, get on your wall. Get on your wall. Get on your wall. And it meant Natalia had to put her forehead to the wall. Okay? Now, they said in the beginning of this docuseries that Natalia would do like crazy antisocial things, even as a kid. Like she'd like shit her pants and try to put it in her hand and smear it on her brothers and stuff like that. Like just do wild stuff. But then Michael, he says that Christine made her get on the wall for like 8 hours at a time. He said Christine would make her stand on the wall, and she like just poor Natalia's like pissing herself. And she's still got to stand on the wall. Wow, she's got to stand on the wall until she writes some names down. She said that when Natalia would misbehave, Christine would make her sleep in the garage, make her sleep outside on the porch, like just subject her to punishments. Instead of going like, you have to stand out here for 5 minutes, it'd be like 8, 9 hours.
Why subject yourself and get this child if you're going to be an abuser like that?
Maybe because you're nuts.
Yeah.
And then at one point, they moved to Canada because their son was a genius. Now their son is like a math genius, but clearly like socially is not, that's not his foray. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So the son is talking, right? And he goes first, he's talking to the documentarian, right? And he leaves his mic on. I felt so bad for this kid.
How old is the kid now?
The kid's like, 20s. Like he's an adult,
okay.
But he lives in his dad's basement. and it looks like a basement. And you see this footage of him, and he goes upstairs, and he goes, oh, okay, no, I told him some stuff, but I didn't tell him about mom kicking her down the stairs.
Ah.
And the dad's like, okay, that's fine. We agreed we weren't going to talk about that. And then the poor son goes, oh, I'm such an idiot. I left my mic on.
Well, he's smart enough at least to realize that.
And the dad goes, don't worry. You are a minor. You're not responsible for any of this. And besides that, they can't pick up the audio from this distance. And like, I can hear them as the watcher. They left it all in. And then this poor, perfect quality. Perfect. Broadcast quality. And then this poor kid, he goes downstairs, he talks to these documentarians, and he goes, look, he goes, I wasn't going to say this, but I'd like to get this off my chest. He goes, you know, Natalia would do bad things. She would like, you know, soil herself and stuff like that. And my mom was trying to talk to me about how she was trying to get her to stop. And she said that this was a psychologist's recommendation. But she told me to go upstairs and urinate on her bed and on her things. And I think this kid was 12 at the time. And he was like, and I did it. And you're just like, oh, this kid is like riddled with guilt because his mom made him piss on his sister's bed. And you're just like, what?
Well, that's also child abuse on that kid too.
Well, I think that because that kid's a minor and the mom is telling him to, and you do what your mom says, I would put that right back on the mom.
No, I'm saying like,
that he was getting abused. Yes, I'm with you, 100%. So then, I mean, look at Michael. So Michael is in a position now, right, where the older son lives with him, but the younger sons, they stayed in Canada, and the mom has told him all kinds of terrible things about the dad. This is a taste of him.
And you're going to tell me, Mr. Barnett, you can see him for 5 minutes.
You can see him for 5 minutes. At one point, they go, can you show? And he said that Christine was physically abusive to, Natalia. And they go, how abusive? Well, how do you mean physically? And he goes, how abusive? You. Okay. Make sure your guys got a wide shot. Okay. Do you guys have a wide shot of the room? Okay. And then he gets up off the chair and he goes, I need you to get me from here up. Can you get me from here up? Okay. He's checking the camera.
And they leave for theater.
They leave it all in. They left it all in. And he goes, you got me? Am I on? Am I on? Okay. This is what she did. And you're just like, this is so, like, on so many levels, disturbing. No, here he is.
You can smile. You can hug your children. It's only for 5 minutes. But to do it, you need to cut your arm off. I'm not even going to hesitate. Where's the machete?
This is my favorite part about what he does, is that he'll say something and then pause for you to react. Like, everything he says is like, so, bet you didn't see that one coming.
It's very theatrical. The arm movements,
and if somebody said
pausing,
like you don't know where he's going, right? And if somebody said you could see your kids, but you'd have to cut your arm off, like most of us are gonna be like, man, cut your arm off. I bet he's not gonna do that. I'd say, where's the machete?
Boom.
Go ahead and give it to me. You're like, whoa, this guy's the real deal, huh?
Taking you for a ride with his story. I mean, he's a good storyteller.
He's a terrible storyteller.
I think he's an amazing storyteller.
And and she said the things that she said. The things that she said. If you got to watch this guy just to watch him build himself up to tears. It's so great. He's going like
emoting.
Like he starts to tense up his whole skull to just push water out of his eyes. I don't know why a person would do that. You're just like, tranquilo, okay? Okay? Tranquilo.
And scene.
Yeah. Did you guys get that? Did you get a close-up of the... Okay, all right. Let me get a drink of water. I'll give it to you again if you need it. Listen to him.
Take two.
This is the best. This is the best part. This is like one of the great. I mean, at one point they go like this, right? Well, I'll tell you in a minute.
Jetty. I will.
He's thinking about it now. I will.
What would I do?
I will. Yeah. Yeah, I will cut my arm off. It's like nobody's asking you to cut your arm off, dude. You're not going to be, nobody's going to hold you to that. First of all, your kids aren't around, right? And second of all, no one's cutting your arm off. Nobody asked. You made this question up. And he's like, I would cut. Yeah. Yeah, I would. Yeah, I'm not going back on it.
Sir, this is the Wendy's.
And your dad was Dave Thomas, right? No, I'm not actually Wendy. No.
Hey, fight.
Here he comes. Here he comes. Oh, he's getting mad.
Sorry, I'm gonna get upset.
Hang on. Hang on. Oh, he's getting mad.
Oh, what? That was
When this first started, every single
I did not
night
see that coming. What a swing! What a toss!
Here it comes.
Sorry, I'm gonna get upset. Hang on.
See ya.
That is the most unnatural thing I've seen during a breakdown. Come on.
Yeah,
You would not do that with the cameras off.
It's so controlled. It's such a controlled throw. Like at one point he goes like, so you find out, right, that his wife was just as sexually promiscuous as a married woman. You couldn't believe how sexually I mean, he had so many Facebook messages, and they had them all of her. She loved talking sex with people. Loved talking sex, loved sending dirty pictures. They had all of them. He goes, and I found out, because she's not good with technology. And I said, Christine, your phone is connected to my Dropbox. And I went to look for pictures of my kids, and I saw her in lingerie. And I said, oh my God. And so like she's doing all this, right? And then one of the people that she was sending sexy, like all of the messages start regular and then turn into sexy messages. And they have this like little person entertainer, right? And he like works locally, but he's a little person. And so first she messages him asking for advice on Natalia. And immediately it turns into sexy messaging. She starts sending, you know, you're actually kind of cute. You're actually kind of hot. You're like, this is weird, man.
What a horn dog.
Where is this going, right? And so he says something in the doc that they never show. But it's obvious. I mean, it sounds like it's the worst thing you could accuse him of as a father, if that makes sense, right?
Okay.
So the little person says, well, Christine told me something about him, and I'm going to say it in court if they ask me. Now, he never went to court, so they never say what it is, but they do play Michael the video like it's The Last Dance, where they give Michael Jordan the iPad to react to stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they give him the laptop that they have this interview on, and he goes, they go, can I show you this interview? And he goes, I don't want to see it because I don't care. And they go, wow. I mean, he's saying wild shit. So can we just show it to you and you react to it? And he's like, I don't want to react to it because I don't care. And you're like looking at somebody emoting that would be the exact opposite of I don't care. And then the lawyer's in the room and the lawyer goes, you know, it might be a good idea for you to get your piece out here because this guy could go on Access Hollywood and say this stuff. At least we'd have you on the record. And he goes, give me the laptop. Give me the laptop. And he looks at it. And before he watches the video, he goes, whose is this? Whose computer is this? And the producer, it's my computer. And he goes, and how many pieces do you want it back in? No, I'm serious.
Shut up. So cringy.
Spoiler alert, he does not break the laptop. And we never see what's on the video, but he does not break the laptop.
Yeah, he asks how much it is afterwards before he does.
Yeah. And would I be fiscally responsible for the damages?
That has to be the best tool for producers. They're making documentaries in 2020, you know, this whole there where you could just like record one person talking shit about someone else and then immediately just hand the other person a laptop and be like, here you go. Just respond to it. Here's exactly what he said. You can get the sound bites you can get from that is amazing.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
It's great.
Yeah. Well, Michael, it's not what Isaiah Thomas said. Check this out. And how many pieces would you like it back in? I'm serious.
Is that Michael Jordan?
That's Michael Jordan, yeah. Yeah, so at the end, like the last like 2 episodes or so are watching Michael gear up for this court case, because now the police officer gets a court case opened saying that there's questions as to whether or not she's actually a kid, and also it's neglect either way. The court says, look, the state found her to be 22 years old, and that's it. So you can't use this in court. So, spoiler alert, and it's not a spoiler alert. This whole thing is still worth watching because the story is so fascinating. But Michael is found not guilty, and just, I mean, the way he reacts, it's like he's falling apart. Like, you assume he's guilty because he's crying and, I'm not guilty. And you're like, what? Stop.
I do have one question though. I forgot to ask. Before he throws the bat in that scene that you showed us earlier, what was the context of him even holding that bat during the interview?
Prop. You saw the whole context of him holding the bat.
Okay, so it was very.
The bat was not. Nope, the bat was not. Okay. There was no symbolism of the bat. No, it wasn't like this is my son's bat. Nothing like that. No. Nope. Yeah. So he's like, crying and crying and crying, and he's not guilty and everything. And then he goes like this. He does an interview and he goes, you know what? Christine's case is coming up. And since I was found not guilty, they told me that I can't plead the Fifth Amendment, and because I can't be criminalized for things that I've already been found not guilty of. So guess what? When they asked me about Christine, I'm bringing a shotgun. And you're just like, oh.
There's a lot of awful people in this documentary.
Everyone.
And
all the people. I haven't found one redeeming person in it, right? And so then real quick at the end of it, Christine's court case was thrown out due to lack of evidence. They didn't even go, there was no trial, right? And it's just, you're just over and you're like, huh? So later this summer, they've got a follow-up on this doc. They've got a part 2 where they're actually interviewing Natalia.
Oh.
Right. So that'll be great. I mean, once you watch the thing again, 6 episodes, I watched literally the whole thing in one night. It was so good.
So how old is she now?
30-something. According to the state, legal, or according to her? The state would have her at 30-something. Now, look. If you look at... Here's the thing. If you look at her face now, it's changed dramatically from her face then.
I have to look her up right now.
Okay? It's changed very much. This is not an 18-year-old person. Right? Like, it's not. Do I think that she was 6? Do I think she was 6? Well, let me ask myself that question. I just want to talk about it. No.
Okay, I see her face now.
Like, do you see how she's aged up quite a bit?
Yeah.
And the reason that I say that is because while I don't think that she was as young as she said she was, if you look at the difference between when she moved into the apartment and how her face looks now, it's not the difference of 20 to 30. It's more like the difference of 15 to 25. You see what I'm saying? Like your face.
I was gonna say she looks 25 years old here.
Today.
Yeah, today.
Right.
She looks 25, maybe 26.
I think that there is a high likelihood that when they said she was 8, she was 15. Somewhere around there, right? Like, I believe she was older than she said she was.
Yeah, 15, 14.
Right, exactly. I believe that she could have easily been a teenager and not like a, kindergartner or first grader. Easily. I don't think she was 6 when they adopted her. but I don't think she was 20. You know, I don't think she was a full-grown adult. And that's where they run into problem. And all you go like, well, how could Natalia act in ways that are so antisocial? And it's like, if she really was getting abused that badly, that regularly in that house, that will screw a person up. So I kind of left going like, look, everybody is off here. Everybody's wrong. I left the documentary going like this. I don't want anything to do with any of these people. Not one person in this thing. None of them. Not even the lawyers for them. No one. I even want to stay away from the filmmakers. You know what I mean? Like, no one associated. Yeah, it's just the whole thing is awful. But, you know,
the poor girl, though.
I think that to put all the blame on Natalia and to just be like, yeah, the parents are just victims here. That's nonsense. There's no way. But I'd be interested to hear what you have to say. If you've seen the doc series or you haven't yet watched it, leave a comment and let me know what you think of the thing. It was absolutely fascinating. See, like Matthew Gold said, she looks early 30s now. Possible, you know, it's possible. It's weird that nobody can come up with answers for this thing, right? Like, we basically have evidence that UFOs exist, but we can't figure out how old Natalia Grace is.
So she still hasn't come out.
Carly said that people with dwarfism look older than they really are. So, right. So you see what I'm saying? So even if she looked older than you thought she was, that might have, like, they're smaller, but their facial features look older. I don't know. That's what Carly said.
Yeah, it's weird because of the dwarfism. You can't really gauge it. If this was like a normal.
Don't say normal.
You know, or you know,
typical.
The typical child. This is a typical child.
Don't say typical.
You could gauge it correctly.
Don't say correctly.
Fuck.
Yeah, it's really great. It's a really good one. Hey, you know the rules of Sam Roberts now. Every super chat gets acknowledged. Every super chat gets acknowledged. If you'd like to contribute to the show tonight, I see a lot of comments coming in. Super chat them in. If you're watching later on, leave a comment under the video and talk to me about the stuff that we're talking about tonight. And don't forget as well to like, subscribe, do the whole thing. I'm putting up smaller clips from the show every week, so if you want that, I put up last week. It was I put up the Black Mirror ranking as its own video. So if you're just into that, the UFO conversation we had, you know, all kinds of stuff like that. I am going to put up the Chris Gaines conversation too. So let's go over these super chats. Six Crow, appreciate you, always appreciate you. Poodlerific, can you wish us Happy Father's Day in the Bowery King voice? So, Daddy, I heard it's your day. Happy Father's Day.
Clipping that one out and sending my dad.
Okay. Was that good? You got great. That, by the way, you got that way cheaper than a Cameo, so, you know.
Yeah.
Coyote Jester, did you guys enjoy the Cagney and Lacey, Jim and Sam intro? Oh, my God. I think I forgot to show that to Jim. I got to write that down because, yeah, it was awesome. I watched it on Twitter. I showed my wife. It's hilarious. It's really, really well done. If that was you, Coyote Jester, you did an amazing job. And I gotta show it to Jim next week. PHWOFL, Sam, close your mouth and open your ears. Where's Lila Garrity? That's what a caller said to Jim this week. Jim was talking smart about religion.
Very obnoxious.
Here's the problem, Jim. You gotta close your mouth and open your ears. Yeah, that's what a person who hosts a talk show should do.
Didn't he tell you you were chiming in too much?
And then he said, since you wanted to chime in, Sam, I'm like, I forgot. You called in, so this gets to be your show now. Lila Garrity's upstairs just living that life, quite frankly. She got to meet the internet champion and the women's internet champion, Matt Cardona and Steph DeLander today. So Lila's doing pretty well. Six Crow, Earl Douglas thinks Lily Rose gets naked too much. Oh, Earl. I mean, that's literally, if Earl Douglas really said that, that's literally the hook of the show. Like, it's like, well, at least there's this, right? Like, if you didn't have access to porn, it'd be awesome. It'd be perfect. It'd be exactly what you needed.
1996, maybe.
I mean, look, no, I'm still pro Lily Rose nude scenes. I don't care what year it is. Yeah, you know, I'm not.
Art.
Sure, I guess. B Herb 76. Do we get a revised list for Black Mirror? Not immediately. Too much recency bias, you know, and I'd like to give myself a little time to enjoy this season of Black Mirror. So yeah. But at some point, you know, I would certainly, and I might just start from scratch. I might rank things very differently. I bet Hated in the Nation stays number 1. Pinky Schultz, F, Mary Kill, Jack Smith, The Weeknd, Natalia Grace. Who's Jack Smith?
I'm typing him in right now. Let's see.
Yeah, I want to know who Jack Smith is. I want to take this seriously.
Oh, he's the special counsel, the prosecutor for Trump.
Okay.
I mean, that's a random one, but
okay. Well, I'm going to marry Natalia Grace because I have a savior complex. No, they don't understand you, Natalia Grace. I do. She goes, Sam, there's something I wanted to tell you. What's that? I'm 33 and I'm here to murder you. Oh, no. Oh, what did I do?
But not today.
Not today.
But it's coming.
All right. I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to just stay and live my life. So will you give me another heads up? Yeah, for years. Yeah. All right. And then I'll probably F The Weeknd because he's so sexy and kill Jack Smith. I don't know. But if it's The Weeknd from The Idol, probably won't F him.
You might get a knock from the FBI.
Oh, well then in that case, I will marry I'll marry Jack Smith. Marry Jack Smith.
Yeah, you might want to. Yeah.
I'll kill The Weeknd. I'll kill The Weeknd.
Yeah.
I change my mind. No, good call. Thank you, hot dog. You always got my back. I'll kill The Weeknd. Chris, critics. Oh, I read that one. Thank you, buddy. Tim Shaw, thank you for the contribution. You're the man. Justin LD, tried to buy a cameo from you, but my card was declined. Well, stop being so broke.
Embarrassing.
Yeah. I don't know why you would say that in public. Not Sam Lehman. Okay, see, this is exactly what I was saying. If I was still 14, I'd be watching The Idol on repeat. Yeah, you would. Yeah, you would. You'd be clogging up that toilet bowl with crumpled up tissues instead of what you clog it up with now. Not Sam Lehman. He had a problem in his house. His plumbing was bad, and all of his house was clogged up, and all his toilets had dumps in it, and he lives with his wife. Isn't that gross? It's gross, right? Disgusting. He manages school buses for a living. Oh boy, we got a Chris. Nobody has seen this show, Sam. How are we supposed to follow along? Talk about Black Mirror episode 1, new season. First of all, Chris, here's how Sam Roberts Now works. There's no democracy. Okay? I write down on my paper what I want to talk about, and that's what we talk about. Second,
I don't even get a vote.
No. Hot dog finds out when we get here. Second of all, there's one documentary that a lot of people are fascinated by that's been on TV for like a couple of weeks. And there's one show that's been on TV for 24 hours. I'll probably not go in depth on the one that's been on for 24 hours. It seems a little unfair. But hey, what do I know? You son of a bitch.
But thank you for the $5. We appreciate
you. You see me get mad? You see me throw the pen?
That was very nice. That was a nice throw. Do it again.
And if you want me to cover different episodes of TV, hold on.
You do the face a little bit too good.
What did you say?
You do the face a little bit too good.
I started doing him to my wife while we were watching the show, and she's like, "This is weird. Why are you doing this?" I go, "I'm obsessed with him. Obsessed." Yeah, let's clip that, by the way. Monkey you, who do you think is the worst mom? He's going to hold the mom from the documentary. The mom from the documentary or Travis's mom. At least those kids know where she is, unlike Travis's. Don't think Doc Dad is that straight either. I don't know if that's the case, but okay.
Travis, you know there was some blame to go his way.
Do you?
You gotta assume.
You do have to assume.
Yeah.
Look, okay. Do you want an abusive mom from the time you're a child so that you're always kind of living in fear? Or do you want a mom to act like she's a great mom and then all of a sudden one day just leave and never talk to you again so that you never trust another relationship as long as you live?
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather the child abuse sounds a lot worse than just your mom straight up leaving.
No, but when your mom, the trauma of your mom as an adult, like Travis had to sit there instead of watching the last episode of Nitro, realizing that everything he's known is a lie. And the last episode of Nitro was insane. Shane McMahon was on.
It was, yeah.
So I think if you're dealing with the same time periods, I'd rather be Natalia Grace and watch the last episode of Nitro than Travis and miss the last episode of Nitro. Does that make sense?
It's very subjective, but
it was the simulcast too, so you wouldn't be able to watch the Raw either.
Yeah.
Think about this.
It's a lot.
Think about
there's
this.
no DVR.
Think about this, Hot Dog. The name on the contract says McMahon. You already know where I'm going, don't you?
It's a legendary.
If I did that to Travis, he'd be like, "What are you talking about?" You know, so it's
he still hasn't gone back to watch it.
No, he's traumatized.
Man,
I said, Travis,
that does suck.
Do you want to watch the last episode of Nitro? He goes, no. I go, why? He goes, because someone I love will leave me. And I go, oh, that's terrible, dude. That's so horrible.
That is awful.
Yeah, you can't. Zetar, appreciate the #1, baby. Not Sam Miguel. Do you think Anthony Cumia will celebrate Juneteenth?
Depends on how.
Okay, I would say I don't think that because the idea of me thinking about whether or not Anthony Cumia is going to celebrate, it never occurred to me to even have that thought. Not Sam Miguel, you obsessed weirdo. Does that address it?
That's very good. Cumia probably looks like the way people look at 9/11.
He's a good guy, though. Not Sam Miguel. B-Herb, no F, marry, kill, but can you pip fist bump? Yeah.
Here we go. Well, I always fuck this up. No, wait, no, it's...
Come in.
There we go.
Boom! Oh, that's a good one. That was a good one.
All right.
That was really good. Tim Shaw says, talk about Ja already. We ran out of time. No Ja Morant talk, but shout out to Ja.
Ja Rule. I think he meant Ja Rule.
Ja Rule? But what I do without my baby?
Yeah. That was really good.
Yeah, thank you, man. Not Sam Miguel. Good. Can Trezon Day, Hot Dog, sing Chocolate Rain? It's just...
What's with
it's
these
the
requests?
same.
We did this already,
It's the
Miguel.
same.
We did this like 3 weeks ago.
You weren't even in a coma when we did this, Miguel.
Oh, my God.
If you needed
this
us
guy
to...
is just...
Come on, bro.
I like pre-hospital Miguel.
He was the same guy.
Yeah, but like...
most people have near-death experiences and they come out completely changed? Not Sam Miguel woke up from his coma and it was like... They were like, oh, you've been in a coma for all this time. I can't believe you survived. It's a miracle. And all his loved ones were around him and he goes, oh, this is great. Hey, did anybody watch Opie's live stream? You're just like, well, come on, dude.
Miguel had 3 ghosts visit him overnight and just nothing.
Nothing. Not a goddamn thing. Not for a second.
Not change his ways one bit.
Nope. He did. The ghost of Miguel, past, present, and future. And he was just like, okay. And he's like, he's the Pete Davidson character from SNL. Okay. All right, everybody. I appreciate you guys. Y'all got 5 styluses. You might as well use them. And I want you to know, we're going to cheers.